I was taking my Spanish state exam when my phone rang. It was my mom's hospice. Your mother is declining fast. She has maybe 30 minutes left if she's lucky. The hospice was 20 minutes away if I walked. 10 if I ran. Miss Vexler didn't even look up from her clipboard. Phones down during state exams or automatic fail. No, you don't understand, I started. Your mom's been dying for months now, hasn't she? Miss Vexler said, cutting me off. Convenient timing for test day. She snatched my phone from my hand and locked it in her desk drawer. 20-8 minutes left. My best friend Isabella shot up from her seat. Just let him go, please. Miss Vexler planted herself in front of the door like a human barricade. Anyone who helps him leave gets reported for academic dishonesty. Through the desk holes, I could see my phone lighting up with texts. Please hurry. Not much time left. That's when the principal's voice crackled over the intercom. Please send Archie Smith to the office for emergency family pickup. My heart jumped. But Miss Vexler walked to the intercom and pressed the button. Hospice said they made a mistake. The student is now taking a state exam. She turned back to me, ice cold. Don't worry. I'm sure she's used to you disappointing her by now. The words hit like a physical blow. Something snapped in my chest and I couldn't breathe properly. My hands started shaking. I know I was having a panic attack. 18 minutes left. Suddenly, Anthony, the foster kid who never speaks, stood up. His mom's the only adult who remembered my birthday. Her cake was the first birthday cake I ever had. Please let him say goodbye. Sit down. Anthony, Miss Vexler said sharply. Anthony's face crumbled, but he sank back into his chair. Miss Vexler scanned the room with narrowed eyes, daring anyone else to speak. You know what I think. I bet she's not even sick. Her fingers flew across the thermostat keypad. Probably just wants attention like you always do. Beep. Emergency shelter mode activated. The door locks clicked out. We were sealed in. 15 minutes left. I could still make it if I ran the whole way. My chest was tight now, like someone was sitting on it. My heart was breaking in two. He's having a panic attack. Someone yelled. Maya, the special needs student, was crying now. When everyone laughed at my stutter, his mom taught me breathing exercises. Every day, for free. Miss Vexler was standing now. Maybe if Archie spent less time visiting her and more time studying, he wouldn't need to fake emergencies. My Apple Watch buzzed. Mom's heart monitor alert. Her vitals were dropping. 12 minutes. Maybe if I sprinted. I was on my knees now, gasping. Please, she's dying. The classroom phone started ringing. Hello, is this Archie Smith's high school? His mom is beep. Miss Vexler yanked out the phone cord mid-sentence. Amazing how the hospice knows exactly when we're taking state exams. Ollie, the quiet girl who was always covered in bruises, stood up shaking. She listened to me when no one else did. She saved my life. She wouldn't fake this. Please. Miss Vexler turned on her with pure venom. Well, this is the same mother who got me written up last month. Consider it karma. 8 minutes left. My legs gave out. I was crawling toward the door. That's when Ashley, perfect straight Ashley who'd never gotten a detention in her life, climbed on her desk. I have something to confess, she announced loudly. Miss Vexler whipped around. Ashley, what are you? I cheated on every test. I stole the answer keys. I hacked your computer. What? Miss Vexler's face went pale. Check your computer. It's all there. Miss Vexler abandoned the door, fumbling with her computer password. Ashley turned to me and grabbed my arm. Window. Now. The whole class erupted. Desks banging. Kids shouting fake confessions. I grabbed a chair with shaking hands and threw it at the window. Glass shattered everywhere. I was through the window, cutting my hands, hitting the ground, running. 6 minutes. I ran like I'd never run before. My chest was on fire. My heart was shattering with every step. I burst through the hospice doors. Room 119. My mom looked so small in that bed. Her skin was paper thin, almost translucent. When I crashed through the door, completely out of breath with blood dripping from my hands, her eyes fluttered open. Mom, I love you so much. I'm so sorry. She squeezed my hand, gathering every bit of strength she had left. Her lips moved again. I leaned in close. I loved her mouth formed the shape of you, but no sound came. Her hand went slack in mine. The entire class burst through the door 5 minutes later. They'd all run after me. Anthony fell to his knees beside the bed. Isabella was shaking with rage. Even the class clown just stood there, tears streaming down his face. Miss Vexler had stolen my mother's last words. We all knew what had to happen next. Nobody moved for what felt like forever. The hospice nurse came in and checked Mom's pulse, then wrote something on her clipboard. The official time was 3:47 p.m. She showed me the call log on her tablet. Every single attempt they'd made to reach the school, starting at 3:17 p.m. exactly 30 minutes before Mom died. Miss Vexler had known exactly how much time I had left when she locked that door. Isabella grabbed my phone and started taking screenshots of everything. The messages, the times, the missed calls from the hospice that showed up after Miss Vexler took my phone. More kids from class started showing up at the hospice. The hallway outside Mom's room was packed with people. Some were crying quietly. Others just stood there looking shocked. Anthony still hadn't moved from his spot by the bed, whispering thank you over and over to Mom like she could still hear him. Everything felt like it was moving too fast and too slow at the same time. The principal called, asking me to come in tomorrow to give a statement about the incident. The way he said incident instead of what it really was made something hot and angry bubble up in my chest. We stayed at the hospice for another hour before finally leaving. Ashley pulled me aside in the parking lot. Her face was pale and scared. My whole cheating confession was completely made up, she said, just to create a distraction so you could get out. Am I going to get expelled? She kept wringing her hands, but also said she'd do it again if she had to. Isabella had started a group chat and sent a message asking everyone to write down exactly what they remembered. Within an hour, my phone had 17 different messages from classmates, all saying the same basic thing about how Miss Vexler locked us in and ignored the hospice calls. That evening, I sat alone in Mom's room at home with all her things. Her favorite sweater still smelled like her lavender perfume. The half-formed word she couldn't finish saying kept playing in my head over and over. Around 8 o'clock, the whole group from class showed up at my door without anyone planning it. We walked through the neighborhood together, not really talking, just being there. Neighbors came out to watch us pass. Mrs. Becker from down the street came out with a casserole and pulled me into a tight hug. My inbox had an email from someone named Yvette Mendoza from the district, saying she was an investigator and needed to schedule an interview with me about the incident. The phone rang and it was Officer Webb from the police station, saying I needed to come give a statement about the broken window and property damage. The way he talked made it sound like I was some criminal who vandalized school property. Isabella called saying the guidance counselor, Amy Gordon, had contacted her about getting written statements from everyone. She was legally required to report suspected abuse to CPS because of Ellie's bruises. Later that night, I had to sit at the kitchen table with all the hospice paperwork and sign forms with the official time of death printed in black ink. The next morning I had to go back to the school. Miss Vexler's classroom had a substitute teacher sitting at her desk looking super uncomfortable while everyone whispered. Walking down the halls was awful. I couldn't tell if people were staring because they felt bad or because they just wanted to see the kid from the viral story. Amy Gordon pulled our whole group into her office during third period. Anthony actually talked in full sentences for the first time I could remember. He told us how Mom was the only adult who ever made him feel like he mattered. During fourth period, the principal held an assembly where he talked about yesterday's incident and proper emergency procedures. He never mentioned Mom dying or Miss Vexler locking us in. The way he made it sound all clean and official made me so mad I had to leave the auditorium. At lunch, I went to the library and used their computer to file a formal complaint through the district's in portal. Isabella helped me write everything down with all the exact times and details. Ashley came over and added her part about the fake confession, taking full responsibility for lying even though she was just trying to help me. That afternoon, more kids started coming forward with their own stories about Miss Vexler. One girl said Miss Vexler made her take a test the day after her dog died and told her animals don't have souls. Another kid said she wouldn't let him call his dad when he was having an asthma attack. My dad finally got home from his business trip that night. When he saw all the missed calls and messages, he just broke down completely. He kept saying he should have been there and how Mom would never forgive him. We sat at the kitchen table going through all the emails and documents. He got really quiet when he read the part about Miss Vexler saying Mom got her written up last month. He told me that Mom had reported Miss Vexler for making a special needs kid stand in the corner for an hour as punishment, and the principal had dismissed it as a misunderstanding. That's when it made sense. Miss Vexler wanted revenge on our family. After school the next day, a woman with a press badge came up to me in the parking lot. Her name was Zelda Vasquez and she'd been looking into teachers who abused their power. She showed me a folder full of articles she'd written about other cases and asked if I'd be willing to share my story. I told her I needed to think about it. I didn't want to become some kind of victim celebrity. Walking back into school, I saw Ashley coming out of the principal's office. She looked like she'd been crying. They were threatening to put academic dishonesty on her permanent record, even though she admitted right away that her confession was fake. The principal said it didn't matter that she was trying to help me. A few days later, we all had to go to the district office for interviews. The investigator, Yvette Mendoza, asked me questions that felt more like being interrogated about the exam than about what Miss Vexler did to me. She kept asking if anyone had their phones out during the test and whether the exam papers were secure. I realized, sitting there, that the district cared more about their test scores than they did about a kid missing his dying mother. When I pulled up my Apple Watch to show the data from that morning, she finally paid attention. The watch had recorded every heart monitor alert from Mom's medical devices during those 30 minutes. You could see her heart rate dropping minute by minute while I was trapped in that classroom. The school board meeting came a few weeks later. The room was packed with students and parents. I stood at the podium and told them what happened. My voice cracked on every other word, but I kept going. One board member was doodling on his notepad. Another kept looking at the clock. Halfway through my statement, the room started spinning and my chest got tight. I couldn't breathe. The panic attack hit me hard. That's when Amy Gordon stood up from the audience and walked right up to me. She started doing the breathing exercises Mom had taught Maya, coaching me through them while everyone watched. 4 counts in, 4 counts out. Slowly the room stopped spinning. I finished my statement with tears running down my face. The board members thanked me for my time and moved to the next speaker like nothing had happened. A week later, they announced their decision. Miss Vexler was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. She was still getting her full salary while I was picking out Mom's casket. The fight wasn't over. It would never really be over. But I was still standing. And sometimes that's all you can do, because my mom taught me that standing up matters, even when the system is designed to make you sit down. Thanks for listening. If you've dealt with teachers or authority figures who abuse their power, drop a comment. And subscribe if you want more stories about fighting back when the system fails you. See you in the next one.